Hi, my name is Chris Dutra from the Apprenda product team, and today I'm going to walk through the Cisco ACI integration. One of the major reasons Apprenda integrates with software-defined networking solutions, such as Cisco ACI, is to provide additional application isolation, including across the network layer. Today we're going to dive into how we work with Cisco ACI to achieve this. Apprenda's peer-to-peer grid normally is a collection of virtual nodes that are able to communicate with one another. In regulated environments, or enterprises that have a laser focus on security, typically there are applications in a portfolio that contain special requirements. This includes network isolation, sensitive data, and so forth. Partnering with Cisco, Apprenda and ACI have come together to partition the peer-to-peer grid in what we define as network zones, which essentially are groups of compute memory and storage allocated to a specific endpoint group. Let's take a deeper look into how this works. Within the context of the Cisco ACI software, there are several key management objects to know. Tenants and application profiles, which generally are related to environment instances of Apprenda. Application endpoint groups, which map to the network partitions contained within the Apprenda grid. And filters and contracts, which define which ports are open between each of the network partitions in Apprenda. Apprenda provides an integration to how these objects are created, which we'll see later. But first, it's important to note how these applications are routed to the right zones. Apprenda natively provides support for custom properties and deployment policies. This means that in the case an application and infrastructure are assigned to a specific network zone, these apps are routed accordingly at deploy time. For example, an application that is tagged as Zone A with a custom property will be deployed onto infrastructure that is tagged with Zone A. Our demo today is going to consist of an application called Intruder, which does some port scanning to determine what ports are open on each of the hosts. Our environment is going to consist of 2 network zones, and we're going to be testing a server from each zone to make sure that the ports are what they should be, open or closed. Apprenda 03 is in what we call Zone A, and Apprenda 04 is what we call Zone B. Our application is going to be deployed to Zone A, so when we test, we should see that Apprenda 03 has its ports open and Apprenda 04 has its ports closed. First, we're going to assign the custom property to our application to make sure that it goes to the correct network zone. Now that the custom property is set, we're going to launch our application. As you can see from the demo here, Apprenda 03's ports are open, which means that it's within the same EPG. And as we move to Apprenda 04, we see that the ports are actually closed. So this actually illustrates how the network isolation works within Apprenda. Our last piece today is going to show how we automate the creation of these network zones from Apprenda. The demo that we're going to show here illustrates how Apprenda talks to Cisco ACI to create the managed objects, and in turn Cisco ACI manages the underlying infrastructure. In this instance, it'll be VMware vSphere. We're going to go ahead and create a third network group, Zone C. What we're going to see is the managed objects get propagated down the line, going from Apprenda to Cisco ACI to VMware vSphere. The end result is that you see a distributed switch for the VMs to connect to in vSphere. So ultimately, we've created an additional network that provides this isolation. So in an automated fashion, we're actually using the ACI Python libraries to be able to interact with ACI, and in turn it's orchestrating all of the additional configuration downstream. Similarly, when we delete a network zone from Apprenda, Cisco ACI will go ahead and remove that distributed switch. Now, in these instances, you need to have checks and balances because you don't want to remove a switch that has VMs associated with it. So part of our roadmap is to include additional controls to be able to limit how these EPGs are created and destroyed. And that's it. Thanks so much for your time. If you have any more questions, please feel free to go to our website at www.apprenda.com. Thanks.